Hi, Remote Learning Academy students. This is your teacher, Miss Lorenzetti. I'm trying this way of presenting a lesson because I tried to do the audio clips on the last lesson, and that turned out to be harder than I anticipated or more complicated than I thought. So I'm going to try this way. Let me know how you think it works. Thank you for being so patient with me while I learn the best way to navigate this whole virtual learning situation. It's a learning curve for everyone, I think, definitely. So, this is our fourth lesson. Today we're going to talk about thinking critically about music, because music has many purposes, not just something you listen to for fun. There's actual important purposes behind different kinds of music, or different things in music. So last week we talked about music in the movies, and we talked about the purpose of music in the movies. So I want you to think back to that lesson, or I should say 2 weeks ago. Our last lesson was about music in the movies. So I personally think that music in the movies communicates a lot about mood, the feeling of the movie. We watched the movie scene with music and without music, and it was very different, if you remember, because the music in the movies is essential to the plot of the movie, to the feeling of the movie. If you change the music in a movie, it's a totally different movie. And so today we're going to talk about music in the brain, another purpose of music besides just being fun to listen to. So our investigation is, does music have an effect on the brain? Do you think so? Maybe you know about this already, have some background knowledge. So we're going to look into this. So scientists have studied music and the brain. Neuroscientists, who are brain scientists, have studied music and the brain. Two of these scientists, or I should say two of these professors, are, I'm sorry to them because I'm going to butcher their names, but Kimanobu Sugaya and world-renowned violinist Ayako Yonatani. They teach a class about your brain and music at the University of Central Florida. They also have a website with this information, which is where I got a lot of my slides from. So this is just Ayako Yonatani. She is one of the professors at UCF involved in this music in the brain class. This is just her playing a violin concerto because I think it's nice to listen to. Sorry if the video is a little slow. I'm going to post the videos at the end just in case they don't show up right. So she's playing a concerto, so she's the soloist and she has an orchestra behind her. Sorry about the announcement. So, can music affect the way you physically and mentally feel? Have you ever listened to your favorite song if you're having a bad day? Or maybe some calming music if you're feeling stressed out? Because there's scientific evidence that listening to music really can have these effects on the brain. Scientists at Stanford have said listening to music seems to be able to change brain functioning to the same extent as medication. So it's scientifically proven that music can reduce stress and make you more relaxed. So if you're feeling stressed or upset, listening to your favorite music really will help you. It's a good strategy for getting rid of stress and relaxing. So you can put that in your toolbox for later. Listen to your favorite music if you're having a bad day, and it will literally change how your brain works, and you will feel a little bit better. So, scientists have also investigated what parts of the brain are activated when listening to and playing music, and they found that music activates many different parts of the brain. This is an MRI machine, and I hope none of you have had an MRI before. But they use something very similar to an MRI machine, an fMRI, and have people listen to music while in this machine, and they scan their brains to see what parts were activated when listening to music. So basically, the MRI machine is like a giant magnet. So they use magnetic resonance imaging. So they use magnetic waves, I guess, to scan different parts of your body. They can see your bones, they can see your organs. And so they used a special version of this, an fMRI, which measures your brain activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. So they can see what part of your brain is getting more blood flow when you do different things. For example, Listening to music. They have people listen to music and they have people play music, and then they use the fMRI to scan their brain and see which parts of their brain had a lot of activity or had a lot of blood flow going to that part of their brain. So that's how they figured out what parts of the brain were activated when listening to music. So all these different areas of the brain they found were activated when listening to or playing music. So every single part of your brain has a specific purpose, and it controls something different within your body. So the temporal lobe was one part they found that was lit up or had brain activity when listening to music or playing music. And this part of your brain is responsible for processing what you hear. So that makes sense because we listen to music. It goes through our ears. We hear it. So I think this one makes a lot of sense. We use the language center to appreciate music, this is up here, which spans both sides of the brain, though language and words are often interpreted in the left hemisphere, while music and sounds are interpreted in the right hemisphere, Yuantani says. So that part makes sense, I think. We would expect that. Another part of the brain that's activated when listening to or playing music is the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is responsible for thinking, decision making, and planning. And they say, their explanation is the frontal lobe is the most important to being a human. We have a big frontal lobe compared to other animals. By listening to music, we can enhance its functions. And another example, though there are many more, is the hippocampus. So the hippocampus is sort of deep within your brain. It produces and retrieves memories, regulates emotional responses, and helps us navigate. Considered the central processing unit of the brain, it's one of the first regions of the brain to be affected by Alzheimer's. And we're going to see an example of music in Alzheimer's at the end, leading to confusion and memory loss. So they think music may increase neurogenesis in the hippocampus, allowing productions of new neurons and improving memory. So they think that listening to music creates new neurons and connections in your brain, which is pretty crazy. But again, all these different parts they found were activated. Those are just 3. And because music lights up so many parts of your brain, it can also be used to treat brain diseases. So, music therapists, maybe you've heard of a music therapist before, maybe not. I have a lot of friends who are music therapists. They work in hospitals or different private practices, just like a regular therapist. So they use music to help people with brain diseases, like Parkinson's. They also use music to help many different things, such as people with disabilities, things like that. But in this situation, we're going to talk about music therapy and Parkinson's. So what is Parkinson's? Maybe you've heard of it. Parkinson's is a disorder of the central nervous system that affects your movement and includes tremors. So people with Parkinson's have trouble walking and controlling their body movement. This is a brain. Parkinson's affects a part of your brain really deep in this part right here. In Parkinson's patients, dopamine neurons in the pathway degenerate. So basically, they don't have enough dopamine being produced in their brain. And when your dopamine production is depleted, the motor system nerves are unable to control your movement and coordination. So the dopamine producing cells are lost over a period of years. So this is a progressive brain disease, happens to elderly people, happens over time. And the motor type symptoms such as tremor and rigidity will start to appear. So you don't have enough dopamine in your brain, and if you need dopamine in order to control your body movement. So when you lose the dopamine, when you have Parkinson's, you tremor, it's hard for you to walk. We're going to see an example, it's hard for him to walk. Your body becomes very rigid. You just can't control your body as you would want to. So music can be used to aid Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So music can increase dopamine in this area of the brain. And music increases our response to rhythm. By doing this, music temporarily stops the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. We're going to see an example of that. Rhythmic music, for example, has been used to help Parkinson's patients function, such as getting up and down and walking. And music can help them kind of like a cane. So, here's this video. Again, I'm not sure if the videos will play right. They might be out of sync. So I'm going to include the links to the YouTube videos in the assignment post, just in case. So, this elderly man, he has Parkinson's, and you can see he has a walker. He has a lot of trouble walking. So in the beginning, he's just going to be walking around. Sorry, my lights shut off automatically. Turn back on, please. Okay. Sorry about that. He is going to be walking around just normally without any music, and then they're going to put music on, and I want you to see if you think there's a difference in the way he walks. So they say gait training because gait's how you walk. So that's what they're working on here, helping him to walk more steadily.
Kind of post a video letting everybody know about this cool little study I came across. It's actually been out for quite a while, but I didn't know about it, so I wanted to see the difference.
Okay, this is him walking just regularly. Now let's see him walking with music. So the video might have lagged a little bit there, but I'm going to post it again. And hopefully you can see that his walking, I think, was much improved from the beginning of the video. He sort of just took off, and it was like he wasn't even shuffling anymore. So here's a music therapist who's going to explain a little bit about why this works. Let me skip to the middle. So this is a music therapist. I'll leave it small.
With Parkinson's disease, it's almost like a person has lost some of their internal rhythm, and so things stop moving the way that they used to in kind of a rhythmic pattern. So using music, like listening to music with a steady beat, playing music with a steady beat, and practicing all of those things, we're hoping to kind of compensate for that loss. And a lot of research has shown that music can help the brain rewire itself around parts of the brain that are damaged. So that's one of the reasons why music therapy works.
So in that situation, they're in a little music therapy session or group, which they also have. Again, I'm going to post these videos at the end so you can watch them again because I do believe it is being quite laggy on my shared screen. So the last one I want to talk about is Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's is similar to Parkinson's, and it's a progressive brain disease. So it destroys your memory and other important functions. We talked about the hippocampus before in a prior slide, and it said that that's one of the parts of the brain that's affected first when you have Alzheimer's. So brain cell connections in the cells themselves degenerate and die, which eventually destroys your memory and other important mental functions. So I think because it works better, I'm going to post this video again in a link. So it'll be 3 videos, which you can watch every video. I'm also going to post the PowerPoint slide. I just wanted to have me explaining it a little bit as well. And so in this video, I'll tell you before you watch it, this elderly woman, she has Alzheimer's, and she forgets her daughter's name in the beginning. And then her daughter has her listen to music, and you'll see at the end what difference it makes. So,
here, sit right.
No, don't do that right now. Another Alzheimer's video I will post. So after you watch those videos again, because I think they were lagging, you're going to answer assignment number 4, which is on Google Classroom, and make sure you submit that. The answers to this assignment are located in this PowerPoint, which I will also attach to this post. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Please send me an email, comment on the post. I know a few people helped me with the last post and told me that my audio recordings weren't working, so I very much appreciate that. And I hope you all have a very happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks for your next lesson.